Turbo Racing Team. Turbo is a little snail who lives in a garden with his brother Chet. He dreams of being as fast as the cars that whiz around the Indy 500 racetrack. No dream is too big and no dreamer is too small, says Turbo with a sigh. Turbo and Chet work at the tomato plant, but Turbo is bored and daydreams about racing at top speed. There he goes again, laugh the other worker snails. We all have our limitations, Turbo, says Chet. You're not a car. Later that day, Turbo watches the car zoom by on the highway. Suddenly, a large gust of wind blows him into the engine of a drag car. The fuel changes Turbo into a super speedy racing snail. Then he discovers that his new glowing shell has a built-in radio and even a super cool shell alarm. Turbo races home to show Chet his amazing new powers, but Chet is carried away by a group of hungry crows. Help, cries Chet. The world is moving. Hold on, calls Turbo as he races along the road after the crows. Startled, the birds drop poor Chet to the ground. A man called Tito finds Turbo and Chet and enters them into a snail race. A little far from home, aren't you, garden snail? Mocks a large snail called Whiplash, whooping and shouting. The racing snails barely move down the racetrack. Vroom! Turbo swooshes past the other snails at top speed. Wow, you're amazing, little amigo, shouts Tito happily. I'm going to enter you into the Indy 500. He gathers Turbo, Chet, and the racing snails, and they head off in Tito's van. At the Indy 500, Turbo needs to qualify for the main race. He zooms around the track at top speed as the crowd cheers wildly. The cars are at the starting line for the big race. The lights flashed and Turbo takes off at top speed as the crowd cheers. Turbo! Turbo! But Turbo starts to fall behind. Come on, Turbo, shouts Whiplash. Get out there and snail up, baby. Turbo tries something new and zooms back into first place. Suddenly, the racing cars lose control and there's a huge crash. Turbo is badly hurt and his super speed has gone. You can do it, Turbo, cries Chet. Turbo starts to crawl slowly, very slowly, to cross the finish line in first place. Turbo's dreams have come true. He won the Indy 500 and he's the fastest snail ever.